We've had a lot of bike rallies to get her out there, get her name out there, and we're still searching. We still have hope, you know, and we're still following up on every lead that we have.
What have some of the leads been like?
You know, just the typical, you know, we found these shoes, we found these shorts, you know, and things like that. And of course, unfortunately, they're not hers. So.
When we were here last time, we didn't really, you know, touch on Syndey's relationship with her stepfather.
Yeah.
It's in that time since then, have you thought about that? Have you thought about, and have you shared much about, you know, what were they like together?
Well, you know, as a family, we had our good times, you know, and like I said, that day was a good day, and you know, it was typical, you know, father-daughter relationship.
Do you have any questions about what may have led to her disappearance involving John?
At this time, we are not sure what happened, you know.
Okay, sorry, I'm crying. I think it's the pollen. I'm like, so forgive me. I don't want you to be like, what's wrong with her? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
No, allergy season is upon us.
And it only happened when I moved to Arkansas. Did it get like this? So I apologize for that. What was it? There have been some things. You weren't the one who was out sort of saying things, but there have been some reports. With,
yeah.
You know, Syndey's biological father sort of making some claims. What was that like for you to hear that? Just disturbing. He hadn't been around in the last 3 to 4 years. So you feel like maybe he doesn't know? Yeah, like I said, he had been out of her life for 3 to 4 years, you know, by you know, their choice, you know. He's been, you know, spent financially supporting her, but just not coming around and seeing her and stuff. So how did it, was that the first time you heard claims of any type of abuse?
Right.
Was from him?
Yeah.
And so as a mom, what was that like?
Well, I think he was a little upset, you know, as we all were, you know, and maybe he felt just a little bit guilty because he hadn't been around, you know, as much. But
you were here in the home. Was there ever any sign to you that Syndey was being abused?
No. No.
And now that we're, I guess, oh gosh, a month and a half out, you said that you still, you know, are very hopeful. How have things changed around town? Do you still have people who are joining the search? Oh yes, we're still searching. You know, the police follow up on every lead they can, and we're just not going to give up hope. She's out there, you know, and we're going to find her. Are people still searching in Lawrence County? It feels like they might have torn up the entire county by now.
Right, they're still following up on every leads, and there's still searches out there. I think they've gone a little bit further in their search, you know, so. They're very, Richie Thatcher, the police chief, has just been awesome, and the whole community has just been awesome.
Your sons have went back to school.
Yeah.
What's it like trying to move on, like in your daily life, go back to doing the things you were always doing?
It's hard. It's very hard on all three of us, you know. Picking up, I wouldn't say picking up the pieces, because I don't think you'll ever pick up the pieces. But you know, we take minute by minute, you know, as it comes. It's very difficult at times, you know.
How have things sort of changed, I guess, around the house?
Well, right now I am mom and dad, you know. So there's a balancing act that I do. you know.
Do you yourself have any, I guess, do you ever think about the possibilities of where Syndey could be?
I think about that a lot, you know, and we just don't know where she's at this point. But it's people like you who keep coming out and keeping the story going that is very hopeful, you know.
You said you still have hope. You still have hope that she's still alive.
Right, right, yes. I feel very strongly that she's still alive and she's out there.
How does the way John passed away, how does that impact what you feel may have happened to Syndey?
I don't feel comfortable answering that question.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I understand it must be very tough for you to have
Right.
your daughter missing and to have your husband gone the way
Right, right.
that he did. Did you have any inclination that anything may have been going on with him?
No, no, I hadn't. This was a total shock to everybody. You know, his family, me, the boys, you know.
And my pen gives up.
I have one in the car. You want to get it?
I just got it going again. Sorry. Between the pen and my tears, I'm just
It's
like,
okay.
goodness. Is his family helpful and supportive?
Yes.
Are you all, tell me a little bit about the search process. How often are you all still searching? At first, when I came, it was every day.
Yeah, it's about every weekend. You know, there's a lot of people that are using their own horses and their own ATVs, and they're taking time away from their family to look for Syndey.
What would you say to those people right now who are doing that?
I would tell them how much I love them, and I appreciate them taking time away from their family to look for my daughter, because it means a lot to us to know that they're not giving up the search.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Denise?
I just would like to thank everybody, from Richie Thatcher to the Sheriff's Department to anybody who's ever been out there searching, that it means a lot to me to know that they're taking time away from their family and their jobs to look for Syndey. And I know that she's out there, and I just can't thank them enough. The whole community has come together and rallied around me and the boys at this time, and it's just been wonderful.
Any questions, Drew? I saw there's a new picture on the flyer at the store up there, one that we hadn't seen before. Is the police department kind of doing things like, they pulling out different types of pictures and things
Right.
like that?
Yes, we're pulling out all of her pictures, and we just recently gotten some of the last ones they taken at the school that, you know, that we're trying to get out there, you know.
When police have a lead, how do you find out? Do they call you?
Yeah, they call me, and they follow up, you know, and then they'll call me and they'll say, you know, I think the hardest part is when they bring an item of clothes, you know, to the house, and they say, do you recognize these? And I don't sometimes, you know, and it's hard. It's hard looking at that article of clothing, you know, to see perhaps it is Syndey's, and a lot of times it's not. So that's heartbreaking.
So far, none of the things that they've brought by?
No, no.
How many times have they come by like that?
Several times. And it's, you know, you kind of, you go through a roller coaster. You know, you kind of think, hopefully that maybe hers, and then, you know, we'll find her, you know. But then it turns out that it's not, you know, so it's heart-wrenching.
What do you do to stay hopeful? Every day that goes by, what do you do? What keeps you going?
I pray. I pray a lot, and I pray to God that He gives me the strength every day to keep going. And, you know, I pray to the community to bless them, to keep them, you know, reminding her of her, you know. It's very hard every day that goes by that she's not here. It's very hard because I still get up at the same time every morning and think that she's going to walk out of her room and we're going to try on 5 or 6 different outfits before she heads off to school. And that's hard. That's hard. That's hard to not have that part, not have her here to ask me, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then I tell her, of course, she's gorgeous at everything. And then she'll say, well, Mom, that's what you're supposed to say. And she'll go back in her room and she'll change 2 more times. So it's difficult. It's difficult.
She liked clothes?
She liked clothes. She loved shoes. She was very funny. She used to crack jokes a lot. And she loved the flag team and loved to be in the beauty pageants. But she could also get out here and work in the flower bed. You know, and plant flowers or go over and help other people do their chores, you know.
Is that something she would be doing this time of year, maybe?
Oh, yes, yes. She probably would already been out here pulling the weeds out of my flower beds and telling me that we needed to go get some more colorful flowers for the flower bed.
Thank you for sharing. I know it's not always easy.
It's not easy, but I appreciate, you know, you coming out and keep this going because she is out there. And she might see one of these interviews and she might come home.